Hi, I'm here with Peter Angell, founding chairman of SVG Europe. Hi Peter.
Hi Joe.
So you've been with SVG since the start. How do you look back on that time and where we are today?
Yeah, so my involvement with SVG personally goes all the way back to 2005 actually, so before SVG Europe. Barry Johnston and I were the first non-American advisory board members of SVG in the US. And that came about through a shared relationship we had with Ken Agard, who was the founding chairman of SVG, the original SVG in the US, and they had their first chairman's retreat, as it was called back then, in Las Vegas. So we all had to go to Las Vegas, yeah, that's where I learned about SVG for the first time. And then yeah, very quickly after that, we decided to launch SVG Europe, and I was delighted to become the founding chairman of SVG Europe at that time as well. I mean, looking back to SVG in the US, I mean, the whole point was it started small, but it just grew at this exponential rate. And I think that's really a testament to the quality of the individuals who gave their time and their commitment to starting up SVG in both sides of the Atlantic. And that was really what SVG was about. It was an opportunity to grow everybody's network, to meet new people, be inspired by people doing great things at TV networks, at channels, at technology companies, at production companies, and really gel all of that together. And you know, we're what now? We're 15 years in almost to SVG Europe, and yeah, coming up to probably 18 years of SVG worldwide, and yeah, growth has been phenomenal.
Yeah. And you've always championed the Sports TV Awards as well with long-time sponsor Canon. What can you tell me about how the awards have developed over the years?
Yeah. So again, it was something that Ken Agard kind of started in the US a little bit with the Hall of Fame, and Hall of Fame doesn't work so well in Europe. So we thought a better way of getting involvement from the community, the broadcast sports community, was starting an awards and growing an awards ceremony. So we kind of started small, and I think we gave the first award, which was a Production Achievement Award, back in 2007, I want to say, at the IBC for the first time. And that was really the genesis of the European awards. I kind of always had this vision that it would grow into something that was, you know, close to the US awards, which are not linked to SVG, the ESPYs. So I had this idea that we call it the ESTYs, the European Sports Television, or ESTAs, sorry, European Sports Television Awards, and that's kind of the pathway we're following a little bit. And you can see year on year it's grown from giving, you know, 1 or 2 awards at IBC to now integrating more awards into a bigger kind of ceremony, and this is our biggest by far this year. So we're doing 6 awards plus a Lifetime Achievement Award, which will be given at IBC as it usually is. Yeah, I think the European industry, the community, is sort of really ready to get on board with a big European-wide TV sports awards, you know, like the ones we have now.
And you've also championed diversity inclusion at SVG with SVG Women and the like. What can you tell me about how that's developed?
Yeah, I mean, that was, you know, one of a couple of initiatives that I was fortunate enough to be able to start in my time as the first chairman of SVG Europe, and you know, that was just obvious, really. I mean, it was clear. Even, to be honest, some of the sessions we were doing back in the beginning, you know, we'd have an afternoon of panel sessions and there may be one woman only. In fact, one we did here at Chelsea, there wasn't a single woman on any panel. And I remember turning, you know, to the team here and saying, okay, this can never happen again. How do we make sure? And that became SVG Women, you know, that initiative. So I'm really proud of what SVG has done. You know, after I've left, Dave Shield, who was the chairman after me, you know, took up the baton and ran with that, and now Alessandro is doing fantastic stuff as well. So we've got a really strong women's initiative in SVGW, and of course Speaker's Corner, which Heather has been doing some amazing work on. So that's been a real cornerstone, I think, of what SVG has been trying to do for the broadcaster community. And I mean, the second initiative we had there was training, to get more people into the business, and that's just an ongoing struggle which will never ever stop, and that's something we've been discussing for years and years now, and we're going to have to continue doing that. I don't think we're going to ever stop with inclusivity and diversity. We've always got to be working towards that. We've taken great steps on the side of on the women's initiative side, the SVGW, but there's still much more we can do on inclusivity and diversity in our workforce as a whole.
And finally, what do you think it means to the winners of the awards today?
Well, I think the key thing about SVG is that we're all peers, if you like. I mean, we all come from the community. There's nobody here who isn't in the European sports broadcasting community. The awards this year more than ever are a proper awards system in that we have submissions, we have judges who make a shortlist, the judges and this big judging panel then vote on all of that, and the point there is that those judges are picked from the community of the peers. So I think what you see here is a true reflection of what the community sees as real outstanding award-winning talent in our business, and it's been really tough this year as well. I mean, there have been so many amazing submissions, and people sort of say, well, despite COVID, and I think it's because COVID, that drove ingenuity and it drove people to rise to challenges that they'd never thought they could rise to before, created brilliant technology, great production techniques, new workflows, whole new ways of working that were invented, overnight, and have just kind of gone on and on to be better and better. So I think everybody that submitted an award, could have won. This year, it was an amazing set of entries, really. And I think the winners this year are a real true reflection of companies and individuals who are absolutely at the very top of their game.
That's great. Thank you very much.